No, I haven't had a new channel. A couple of them. It's the same channel. Right. Engineer Southern Pacific DVROM, Lead Unit Southern Pacific 8813 to Utah Division Dispatcher. Our crew change is complete. Now helper cut in. We are ready to pull westbound. Utah Division Dispatcher to Southern Pacific DVROM. You are cleared to pull and subject to signal indications. Proceed westbound from helper via track 1. Dispatch out. Let's put it in digital mode. That's better. Forwards, please. Why are we going backwards? Oh, put that up. Alright then, let's stop. Thank you. Railhead, Mama's home cooking and Matt's trains. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm liking the sound of that. Let's get in the cab. Hey Dino Raptor. Thanks for joining. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget everybody, official channel is at 5 PM tomorrow. Fringe, why the change in time? Honestly, I don't know. That's a decision that the community team have taken, and I assume based on their experience, so it's be interesting to see how it goes down. Yeah, there are a lot of snow scenarios tonight, aren't there? It's unintentional. Hopefully it's cooling everyone down, or making you feel hotter, I don't know. What I would say is if anyone's got any feedback on the change in time, if you can drop me a Twitch message. That way I can pass your feedback on, whether you like it or dislike it or whatever. That would be good, so I can pass it on. Oh yeah, don't need the bell on anymore. Let's get some views from the outside and some screenshots, shall we? I like this route. Obviously running a manifest. Lots of stuff here. Need to get one round the corner, don't I really? I've got to do that shot. Let's wait for it to get round the corner and then we'll pause it and pick up the shot. Keep on the lookout for mountain lions, says Kevin. Right. I just like this shot, that's all. It looks particularly effective when they're on super elevated track, because it sort of looks like it's leaning in, which of course I guess it is. That'll do. Right. If you're sending me a note, send them to me on Twitch is the best bet. Because you can just message me directly, it's much easier. On a 2% grade now. There's no reason why it wouldn't work on a high-speed route. Every frame it's basically getting the address and drawing a new line. So at the moment it's getting way more than it really needs to. Oh, okay, and Liru, Ian wants to know where you got your controller set up and how was it to cope. Apologies. So it's rail driver. There's this thing, which is a little button. It's called an Orbi from PI Engineering, same people who make the rail driver. Then these things are Cytec flight instrument panels, just basically little LCD displays. This with the lights on it, so you can see when they put the bell on. You get the bell light come on. and there's all sorts of other ones. There's 24 lights on here. They're all different colours. This is a thing called a backlight information panel, which again is from Scenic. So I picked up all this kit, and there's also a foot pedal for DSD, UK safety device, or SIFA in Germany. And then I've basically written all the code to make it all work, which wasn't too hard, to be honest. I probably made it harder than it needed to be, just because I wanted to make it a bit more fancy, but never mind. I think the map might be behind us, you know? Utah Division dispatch to Southern Pacific Train DB-ROM. I have a coal extra, lead unit 5391, struggling upgrade on track 1 north of Lynn. I'll cross you over to track 2 at Lynn to run round him and then bring you back on track 1 at Cayenne via the loop track. We've got a yellow aspect ahead of us. Utah Division dispatch to Southern Pacific DB-ROM west of Castle Gate. You may encounter a red signal. You will need to call for the lower white lunar tab and then proceed to the next signal restricted at 20 miles per hour. Tell you what I'm going to do. No, I'm not going to mess about. I think the map is actually running way behind us at the moment. But I want to restart the. I might try and just. This might crash things, but you know, I'm up for it if you are. Yep, it crashed it. Does it now know where we are? The window disappeared, so that's got upset. Now it knows where we are. Lunar signal is a single white. How much the setup cost? Well, the rail drivers are about 150 or 160, I think. I've had this one for years, since MSTS days. Each of these screens is £120, and the backlit panel's about 110. The Orbi, this thing, I think is about £20. And the foot pedal's about £20. But just to be completely clear, I didn't pay for a lot of it because I spoke to Seagate and said what I was looking to do, and so they sent me the stuff. Because I'm not that rich. What does a single light mean? It's a restricted speed, so I can proceed but only at 20 miles per hour. Oh, you know, I wonder if that's the coordinate. Yeah, that's the coordinates at the rear of the train that it's returning. Oh, interesting. Oh, slight bug there. That's why the map is behind us. I'd not tried this on a long train before. That's interesting to know. Ian, there isn't really a single place for it. So if you just look for the individual components, so it's the Scitech flight instrument panel, the Scitech backlit information panel. So one's the FIP and one's the BIP. Rail driver, and then on PI Engineering's website there's the Orby, ORBY, under their X Keys product range. Zoom this out a little bit. Right. That's basically the kit. And two big USB hubs to plug it all into, because that's a lot of USB ports. There is actually an article going up, hopefully tomorrow, onto Engine Driver, which goes through everything that's in there. I wrote an article for Steve to put an Engine Driver. I'm just waiting for him to get a slot to put it down there, and rumour has it that'll be tomorrow. So if you wait until tomorrow, then you'll be able to see exactly what the details are of all the components, how it works, and what I've done. There you go, BNSF. That was the horn. Bell. Make sure I had the right brake gauge loaded. What's my Engine Driver account name? I've no idea. I've not uploaded it myself. I wrote it as a Word document, and then Steve has pushed it over himself onto the website. Yeah, the Google Map's quite fun, isn't it? One of the things I want to do is put the Google Map on the on a web page so that you can just view it without it cluttering up the stream. At some point, I'm presuming that we're going to get hit with a red. Turn that bell off. Would the map be able to track AI traffic? No, unfortunately. The functionality to retrieve latitude and longitude only works for the player train. Oh, I'm sure with lots of development it would be possible, but getting the latitude and longitude out was a very quick and easy job. And that's about all I've got time for, to be honest. I did all this stuff in my lunch breaks and evenings and weekends. This is the last scenario, and this scenario finishes at Summit, which is 20 miles away. Coploper, I got lots of plans for things like that in Unreal. My plans for Unreal go crazy distance. One of the things I've been doing was wanting to play about with some of the ideas, and that's why I started hacking around with Turing Sim 1 in TS 2015, so that I could see what some stuff looked like, see what hardware would look like if you had it all working properly. Cheers, Van Leary, thanks for joining. Fury, does it affect the game frame rate at all? No, I wouldn't have thought so. It's all running separately outside the game, and since the game really only uses single core, and I've got 7 of them for it to play with, the actual application for doing the interfaces can, and to be honest, there's not a lot to that either. So, right, have we got a red signal coming up here? We've got the secondary signal. Have light configurations like the U-boats? I don't think so, no. Let's have the gyro light. So you can flick the gyro light on. There you go, there's one of them. Is that the red one? No. There is another option on there as well. Right, we're getting rerouted over to the other track. Joint DK, making the game support multiple cores is a big job. And to be honest, it's time better spent on next gen. It could do untold damage to the way the game works. Massive amounts of stuff could stop working. You'd need to retest thousands of scenarios, and it would be a bad thing. BNSF, so the existing rail driver software from PI Engineering uses it was for the original version of the API, and that can't drive any train that uses something called virtual controls. Which is quite a lot these days, and that means certain levers don't work. So if the throttle happens to be a virtual throttle, then your throttle lever won't work. With the new API that came out in the previous patch, so that thing that talked about an improved external interface API, that one is what fixed the issue, and I forgot what I was saying. Yes, so now PI Engineering are working on an update, which I believe is doing very well, which uses the new API, and at that point you should find sort of 99% of loco start working correctly. So I would hang fire and just wait for PI Engineering to put their update out. I'm hoping it won't be long. They're testing it with the latest version of the patch, because there was a couple of bug fixes that they needed, and that's in the latest patch. So yes, once they're happy, then they're good. BNSF, the patch isn't out yet, so wait for them. It'll be on PI Engineering's website, raildriver.com, as and when it's all tested and working. JJ, I think the game has some minor bits of threading, but the main thrust of the processing and all the AI and everything, all the bits you really want to move it out to multiple cores, they're all on the main thread. .24 miles an hour. Cayenne Tunnel, 5.2 miles. That's where we'll get switched back onto the correct track. Ooh, the map's about to go green. Oh, look at them rocks. Oh, look at those rocks. Them rocks? What language am I speaking? Oh, nice. That's a beautiful screenshot, that is. BNSF, you'll probably need to go to raildriver.com to go and get the updates. Moggy, Macroworks is PI engineering stuff for Raildriver, and so it basically works for their software only. What else it'll work with, I don't know, of their products, but certainly it's just intended for Raildriver as far as I'm aware. So my code works with joysticks and all sorts of things that are all working now. So I can use a Scenic X52 throttle to drive trains, which is pretty awesome actually. And operate all the lights and the MFD and so forth on it as well. Got all that working. All I need now is an X52 joystick. Now you've got to be here on the right day for giveaways. This week it was Monday. BNSF, correct. 5 PM on the official stream there'll be a preview, which is of the RF16 Shark nose from Baldwin. That's a DTM, digital train model product. And then at 9:30, possibly 9, will be my stream, as normal, doing the normal stuff. You want to drive a train with a G27? Well, if I get the opportunity to release my software, there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to drive it with a G27. Mind control. I've got voice control working. Would that do? Hey, Ian, if you drop me a message on Twitch with your email address, I will send you a copy of the article that's going up on Engine Driver. Hey there, Panda. Thanks for joining us this evening. Yeah, we're now showing 1401 subscribers on YouTube, so that'd be down to Train Simmer and Koploppermauer, I guess. Thanks very much, everybody. 1,400 subscribers. Apparently, we're gaining about 400 a month at the moment, and that number is going up about 30 a week. Fringe, Styling and Dark have an evil scheme against me. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Yes, now make sure you all go and join the Steam group. Randy, there is no public way of connecting the X52 at the moment. The software I'm using for all of this setup, I've done a full X52 integration as well. So, if I get the opportunity to release this software, it's not up to me, I'm afraid, then I'll tell people how to make it work. But I've done a full integration of the X52, so all the lights, all the MFD, all the buttons, switches, dust sliders, dials, POV hats, everything works. and you can make it do whatever you like. I set it up so that you could, on one of the things I was trying out, so that I could drive the entire train just off with the left hand on the throttle stick, using one of the sliders for the wheel and the throttle handle for accelerate and brake, buttons for AWS or alerter responses. It was very cool actually. I was really impressed with it. It's a lovely joystick. Is it possible to program where you can talk to dispatchers and other engineers? You can kind of fake it with the pop-up boxes that this one is doing, but to do anything interactive, they can't really do that with this. And Complopper is going to prove me wrong now. It's called Skype, yes. That was a good shot all on its own. Weather is definitely feeling a bit rubbish. Oh, looks like we're at Cayenne. Oh, this is Nolan Tunnel, not Cayenne Tunnel. Oh, of course, we're still a couple of miles away from Nolan, aren't we? Right, okay. S-Bend screenshot coming up. Not really going to work in this weather, actually. There's a lamppost or a bit of land or something in the way, isn't there? Here we go, we've got wires in the way now. Oh, now we've got land in the way. And bushes. That'll do. Hey there, Steve Van Epps. I see what you mean, BNSF. I'll have a think about how I can do that. I want to do a sort of a general track laying tutorial at some point. So folks, Steve Van Epps has just released his latest masterpiece. I'm going to be playing it on the stream possibly next week now. But in the meantime, yeah, go and have a look at it yourself. Horseshoe Curve, part 2 of his series he's making at the moment. Steve, feel free to post the link up for it. Just as a reminder, this scenario is Southern Pacific symbol DVROM by Gary Dolezal, Alfaba. He's put a number of scenarios up for Soldier Summit lately. .2 miles now for Cayenne. Some work obviously going on around here. This must be the failed train. Go via Cayenne Tunnel Track 2, there's the locos, well it's the mid-locos actually. Yeah, I know what you mean BNSF, I will figure that into a track playing tutorial at some point. Ease off, got a 15 limit coming up. Still got green. Good night, G-Force. Right, let's grab a quick screenshot here. .15 limit, I think, is because we're crossing over. Cheers, Dark. Thanks for everything this evening. What's at the end of my train? An SD40T-2 and a caboose. And then at the head we've got a triple SD45, I think. Yep, that was what was described. As long as they come with the vase, French darling. Cheers, JM. Thanks for joining this evening. Where does this scenario end? Summit. Let's get the conductor to keep a spot out for this oncoming signal. I love how those engines wind up. Beautiful. Looks like we've got the lunar indicator. Ninja Joker, curious, might have missed your explanation. What happened the other day that left you needing an early night yesterday? In an effort to keep everyone fit and get everyone fit, in my case, work, they do some things every now and again. And one of the things they did was they got an instructor in to do like a boot camp fitness thing. And I may have overdone it slightly, to the point that I couldn't move anything. Consequently, I did the stream that night because I didn't feel too bad. But then over the course of the night, I basically couldn't move my arm, I couldn't do anything, and it was horrific. And I got no sleep at all that night, which meant that basically by the time it was time to do the stream, I was so far gone that I abandoned. Got an early night, painkillers on, had actually a good night's sleep, aside from waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning and going back to sleep again. And then I've been fine all day. I mean, I'm still hurting like heck, but it's that's fine. That's just, you know, that's to be done because I let myself go so far gone for such a long way, so I've got to deal with it. So yeah, that was why I didn't do a stream. What's this set of points that Coplopper Mal likes? Let's go and have a look. That? Coplopper, I'd probably lay that down as 3 tracks and then lay in 2 crossovers and then delete the middle track. That's probably how I would attack it. Yeah, indeed, it probably was a light workout. But you know what? As long as I'm doing exercise and I'm moving around, it's all good in the end. Not moving very much at the moment, it has to be said, but it'll be better next time, I hope. Fred, I'm not repeating it again. Dovetail Games basically saying their employees out of shape. No, not at all. Dovetail Games is saying, hey, does anyone want to have a go at some fitness stuff? If you do, it's here and it's paid for by the company. It's about caring for and looking after your employees. I thought you might have been Fringe. Right, we've got 35 limits. Have pedals under the desk to keep the train moving. Yeah. I didn't know that, BNSF. That's very interesting. Hey Mavadello, welcome back. It's not public. The map thing isn't publicly available. It's just it's part of the same application that I use to drive the rail driver thing. It's a little thing that I've written. It's got bugs. It's got issues. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Summit West crossover south track is where we're stopping. 10 miles. What part of me hurts the most? Arm muscles. Everything else is fine, to be honest. I mean, I'm not ridiculously unfit. I'm certainly by no means fit, but I'm not as unfit as I might look. But my arms I very rarely use, other than, you know, holding them up so that my fingers can do keyboard stuff. Yes, consequently doing 55 press-ups destroyed my arms completely. It was comical, to be honest, at the time, because it destroyed my arms to the point they just weren't working. So I went down to lean down a couple of times to sort of do some sit-ups, and I just fell over because my arm just basically wasn't. It was like it wasn't there. Need a standing desk at work. Yeah, there's 2 or 3 people have got them now. Unfortunately, my legs hurt if I do that. But that's another reason I want to get fit, because then my legs will stop hurting. Because that's just purely because of all the extra weight that's sitting on them all the time. Yeah, oh poor Matt. There we go. Let everyone get the violins out. Utah Division dispatch to Southern Pacific Train DV-ROM. Upon arrival at Summit, bring the head end of your train to a halt at Summit West crossover south and anticipate a brief stop to have your helper cut off. Dispatch out. Press-ups, push-ups, whatever you want to call them. It's an arm exercise. And your back, to be honest, but mostly your arms. A standing desk. It's a desk where you can raise the you can raise it up, raise the surface of the desk up so that you can stand up and still use it comfortably. Yeah, press ups, push ups, they're the same thing. BNSF. How do you view the track direction or directionality? Press the space bar, Ed, when you're in edit mode. It changes the track, cycles the track through its alternative views. Railhead, what do you thought on active hotbox detectors? It's not really something I don't think you can really do in TS1, not dynamically, properly, because there's no way for a signal to talk. Sorry, there's no way for a train to talk to a signal. But it's certainly something I'd like to see in future things. So I'm leaning down because I can't lift my arm high enough to do that without it hurting. So I lean my arm on the desk and then bring my head down to my arm. That's how pitiful I am. You almost broke your foot the other day. Wow. Power on. 7.8 miles to go. Yeah, you could do hard-coded scripted sort of hotbox type problems. You could absolutely do that. You could even, in this one, you could have the scenario script play the audio for the hotbox detector, reading out a particular problem, but it would all be hard-coded and scripted. You could certainly do that. If you wanted something to be a bit dynamic, that randomly happens, then that would be something that's very difficult to do. That looks very much like a green light to me. And we're in a 60 limit, or we will be soon. Ed, you can't get the train can't communicate to the to the signal. You can communicate from the signal to the train, but not the other way around. There's a lot that could be possible if you could go the other way around. Prince Stalin 21. I mean, you could make a decision on the signal bot. The signal object could make a decision about whether the train's faulty, and then read something, and then send a message to the train. That would be a way of doing it, but it would be down to the the signal making a decision, so you couldn't simulate the problem beforehand. So for example, if you had a dragging axle, then you couldn't simulate the axle, the train being a bit heavier. It would just be something that was spontaneously decided outside of the train as you went over the signal. As I say, the problem is not really Lion King I have to watch. Frozen has been watched a few times. But I don't mind it because I quite like Frozen. Out of those three, Frozen. I enjoy Frozen because it has a very interesting take on the baddie not being. I like anything which challenges the black and white view of good versus evil, and Frozen does that very well. Do you want to build a snowman, Woody? You know, the cold never bothered me. Go on, Dave, let's hear it. Go on, Dave. What kind of bees make milk? I get the feeling this is going to be a dairy ball joke. Booby. Oh dear. Hey, Mr. Elvis. 308075, thank you for the follow, much appreciated. Fringe, it's not so much about the villain in Fringe being good, it's about the overall story and about the whole fact that you can't consider the villain to be a villain because it's not black and white, and that's what I like about it. It's the wider story makes you think more about the fact that there is no such thing as just bad. And I think it's important that kids understand that, otherwise they get this black and white view of everything that, you know, a bad person's a bad person and that's all there is to it. And in actual fact, there's always more to it than that. Easing off some of the power. I can't remember Jungle Book very well at all. I grew up with it. Used to love that one when I was a kid. And Lion King I can't really remember too well either. All I remember of Lion King is the songs. Yeah, tonight on Train Sim Live, heartfelt discussions with Matt Pelosi. Clearly you have no childhood. No, I'm reliving my childhood with my kids. Oh, you need to go and see it. You need to see it, Ed. It is a very good film. I remember that much. The bare necessities. Oh yes. I still confuse everybody that doesn't know it. Whenever I have an itchy back and I go and scratch it against the wall and I sit there humming the song to myself. Everyone just looks at me like I'm weird, and I believe that it's because they're thinking that they don't, and actually they just think I'm weird. All I'll say is trust in me. .48 miles, Summit West crossover tracks, South Track 1 is where we're going to. Yes, I know it was the snake. Dave pulling no punches at all as usual. Right, we're stopped. Dumbo. Well done, we'll be stopped here for a few minutes while our helper is cut out and our caboose is reattached. Take a break, scenario complete. So that scenario was Southern Pacific symbol DVROM by El Faber, Gary Dolezal, and it's on Steam Workshop. That was Soldier Summit with the SD45 Southern Pacific version. Right, I think that's it. Let me just double check the whole broadcast, make sure I've done everything. Yep, I have. Right. But he can't say Matt's Dumbo. No, my ears aren't big enough. Right. Thanks very much, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow at 5 PM on the official channel, and I will see you again at 9 o'clock, maybe. Otherwise than that, 9:30. But be aware, it might be 9 o'clock. If I can start early, I will. And for the official, for the put my teeth in, for the TSL channel. Right, everyone. Thanks for watching, everybody. Yes, I will see you all tomorrow. If you keep an eye out on Facebook, Twitter, all that sort of rubbish on my channel, my side. If I when I get details about what's happening on the official channel, I will post up so that everyone knows what to look forward to. Yeah, failing that, if you can't make it, drop me a message. Let me know why you can't make it. And failing that, I will see you on TSL later on. Railhead will be his girlfriend's 20th birthday. Yeah, well, congratulations. Have fun. Okay, right, I'm off now. Thanks again very much for joining, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.